Geneva Watch Days 2025 is taking place as we speak, and currently there are some really great releases. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 10 of my favorites. My name is Oleg, and that right there is Mr. Bond. Now let's talk about the new Sinn EZM3S Mission Timer Diver Watch. Sinn is a German watch company and they're known for their over-engineered watches. This specific version, I think, is actually provided to the German Special Forces because these watches feature some impressive engineering. They have 500 meters of water resistance. They have incredible weather resistance, minus 45 plus 80 degrees Celsius. That's what these watches can withstand. They have this sort of oil filled within the case to prevent fogging. There's a lot that goes into creating a watch like this. Even the steel is segmented steel to prevent cracks, to make it tougher. Well, this new version is actually based on the previous version, but now it comes with DLC coating. The dimensions stay the same as the previous version, 41mm diameter, 12.3mm case thickness, and these watches are super light, only 81 grams on this supplied strap. The movement powering this piece is the Sellita SW200 that beats at 4 Hz and it comes with 38 hours of power reserve. And as far as the pricing goes, these watches are fairly reasonably priced for what you get. The one on the strap is $2,820 US, and if you choose to go for the one on the segmented steel DLC coated bracelet, then you have to pay a little extra for $3,650 US. Next, let's talk about the new Yema Superman Tourbillon CMM.31. Yema is a French watch company. They have gone out of business during 70s quartz crisis. Now they're back in business and they have been releasing some really great watches. In fact, I reviewed many on this YouTube channel and I'm always fairly impressed with their timepieces. Recently, they came out with their new in-house movement, the micro rotor movement, and they put those movements into diver watches because that's kind of what they're known for. Now, in 2025, they actually created their own tourbillon movement, which is super impressive. It's not an easy task. As far as the dimensions of the watch go, it's 43mm in diameter and 11.7mm in case height. The case and the bracelet are made out of grade 5 titanium, and this watch features 200 meters of water resistance. The name of the in-house tourbillon movement is CMM.30. It's a hand-wound movement that has 105 hours of power reserve, very impressive, and it beats at 3 Hz. Now, on one hand, I understand why Yema chose to put this movement into this diver watch because they're most known for their Superman diver watches. On the other hand, having a hand-wound tourbillon movement on a diver watch doesn't make a lot of sense because even though this one features an impressive power reserve, you still have to wind it every few days. So you have to unscrew the crown, wind the movement, and then screw the crown back in, which of course compromises the water resistance. So in my opinion, that's a bit of an oversight. I really wish that they included this movement on a more appropriate watch. Now, in terms of the pricing and availability, this will be a limited edition. Only 100 pieces of this watch are going to be made, and it's priced at 12,000 euro. Next, let's talk about the new Oris Big Crown Calibre 113 with the business calendar. Oris is one of my favorite watch companies. I like that they're thinking out of the box and they always come out with some pretty crazy and pretty unique watches. This timepiece here is no exception. The coloring on it alone is very stark, very bright, and very hard to miss. As far as the case and the dimensions go, the case is made out of stainless steel. It features a 43mm diameter by about 13.5mm case height. So it's a bit on the larger side. I do wish they shrunk down the sizing a bit, maybe 41mm, 40mm watch. That would make a lot more sense. In terms of the movement powering this watch is the Oris Calibre 113, which is an in-house movement that beats at 4 Hz and it comes with an impressive 240 or 10-day power reserve. And there's even a power reserve at the 3 o'clock position. Now, in all the press material, they're talking about how this watch is the business calendar. I've been into watches for a long time. I've never heard this term. And I was trying to research exactly what that means, but I couldn't really find it. So if you guys know, please leave it in a comment section below. From my understanding, it's a triple calendar. That's pretty much what it is. It's not exactly an annual calendar, but I might be wrong about it. Now, in terms of the pricing and availability, this will be part of the standard catalog. It's not a limited edition watch, and it's priced at 6,350 Swiss francs. And I do apologize ahead of time about quoting different price points in different currencies. That's just how these press releases work, so I have to quote what they give us. Now let's talk about another Oris release. This one is in collaboration with Bamford Watch Company, and it's called ProPilot Altimeter Mission Control. A version of this watch was released in 2014. Then it was released again in 2023 in collaboration with Bamford Watches. And now for 2025, we have the latest iteration of this watch, and in my opinion, the best looking one. In terms of the specs of this watch, they're pretty out there. First of all, the case is made out of carbon fiber. It features a 47mm diameter by about 16.7mm case height, but that's because it features both the movement of the watch as well as the altimeter mechanism to measure your elevation level. In fact, it can measure up to 19,700 feet of elevation, which is super impressive. The watch also comes with 100 meters of water resistance, and this one is powered by the Oris Calibre 793, which is essentially a Sellita SW200. It beats at 4 Hz and it comes with 56 hours of power reserve. In terms of the pricing and availability, this will be a limited edition to only 250 pieces, and this watch is priced at 6,700 Swiss francs. Next, let's talk about the new Alpina Seastrong Diver Extreme. Last year on the show, I covered a version of this watch that was available in a different color combination. Now for 2025, we got 2 new versions, which I think look quite attractive. Now, in terms of the case and the dimensions, they stayed pretty much the same, 39mm diameter by about 12.6mm case height. These watches are also really short from lug to lug distance, only 40.5mm. So even if you have a bit of a smaller wrist, they should still fit just fine. They feature 300 meters of water resistance, and they are powered by the Sellita SW200 movement, which beats at 4 Hz and it comes with 38 hours of power reserve. In terms of the 2 different color combinations, I prefer the green dial version. I think that looks really good, especially with the grainy finish. Now, both versions will be part of the standard catalog. They're not limited edition watches, and both of them have the same price, 2,000 euro. Next, let's talk about the new Tag Heuer Carrera Astronomer. Usually when you hear Tag Heuer Carrera, a chronograph comes to mind, but this year for 2025, Tag Heuer has decided to release this new Astronomer watch with a moon phase complication at the 6 o'clock position. In fact, this is a very interesting integration of a moon phase complication. I haven't seen one quite like this in any other watch. As you can see, there's this dial at the 6 o'clock position that kind of rotates and tells you where exactly the moon is out of the 7 possible stages. On one hand, this complication is a lot more precise than your standard sort of moon phase complication. On the other hand, it's not as beautiful. In my opinion, one of the things that is so important about a moon phase is that it's a beautiful complication. It's not very useful in today's world, but it is beautiful. This one here could be argued is more useful, but definitely not as good looking. In terms of other specs on the watch, it comes in a stainless steel case. It features a 39mm diameter by about a 12.2mm case height, and it's about 45mm from one lug to another. The cases feature 100 meters of water resistance, and this one is powered by the Calibre 7, which is based on Sellita SW385. It beats at 4 Hz and it comes with 56 hours of power reserve and of course the moon phase complication. Now in terms of the pricing and availability, 2 versions are standard catalog. One is a limited edition, the turquoise highlights one, that's the limited edition to 500 pieces. As far as the pricing goes, it's about 4,550 Swiss francs on the stainless steel bracelet, and the 2-tone version with the rose gold highlights is 6,900 Swiss francs. Tag Heuer actually released a couple of more watches this week, the carbon fiber version of their Monaco and Carrera models with the new TH carbon spring technology. First, let's talk about the TH carbon spring. That's the Tag Heuer carbon spring hairspring technology. They introduced this technology back in 2019 in some of their models, but from my understanding, it wasn't as accurate and as reliable, so they had to go back to the drawing board. Now for 2025, I guess they're ready to reintroduce this technology, making it more reliable and more accurate. And they chose to introduce this technology in 2 new versions of the Carrera as well as the Monaco chronographs. These are iconic chronographs for Tech Heuer, so that only makes sense. Now, the only thing that's different between these watches and the standard versions of the Monaco or the Carrera, first of all, the movements are different because now they're featuring this TH carbon spring. They also feature a flyback chronograph movement on the Monaco and of course the Tourbillon movement on the Carrera, so that makes them different. They also feature fully carbon fiber cases with carbon fiber dials. So that's the big difference, and of course also the pricing. In terms of the Monaco, it's limited to only 50 pieces and it's priced at 17,000 Swiss francs, and the Carrera Tourbillon is limited to also 50 pieces, and that one is priced at 40,000 Swiss francs. Very expensive watch. In fact, you can get an all gold version of this watch for around the same price. Next, let's talk about the new Zenith Defy Chronograph USM. Now, when you hear Zenith Defy Chronograph, you're thinking of this watch right here, but actually the original one was from 1969, and in 2022 Zenith actually re-released that watch with modern materials and slightly updated sizing. Since then, we also got a diver version of the model, and now we got 4 new versions of the chronograph. Now, these watches look very funky, very out of the box, and very 1970s. In terms of the case and the dimensions, they're all made out of stainless steel. They feature a pretty small 37mm diameter, and they're about 13.5mm in case height. They're all powered by the same movement, Zenith Alpina Calibre 400, that beats at 5 Hz or 36,000 vibrations per hour, and they all come with 55 hours of power reserve. In terms of the pricing and availability, all of them are limited to 60 pieces each, and they're all priced at 10,900 Swiss francs. Next, let's talk about the new H. Moser and C Pioneer Flying Hours. The Pioneer collection for H. Moser and C started in 2015, and it's one of their most important collections to date. Now there's this new version of the watch introduced with this flying hours complication, which looks really interesting. Now, is it better than traditional time telling? Probably not, but it is definitely fancier. There are 2 different versions of this watch available. There's the stainless steel version and the rose gold version, and of course there's a pretty big price difference between the 2. There's also a sizing difference. Both of them feature the same diameter, 43mm, but the height is different. The gold version features 16.1mm case height as opposed to 14.2mm case height on the stainless steel version. Now that is including the domed sapphire crystal. Without the dome, the height is more reasonable, 12.5mm on the gold version or 10.6mm on the stainless steel version. Now, in terms of the movement, it's powered by the HMC in-house automatic movement that beats at 3 Hz, and it comes with 72 hours of power reserve. It is a very complicated movement, but it is also a gorgeous movement. In terms of the pricing and availability, the stainless steel version is part of the standard catalog. The rose gold version is limited to 100 pieces. And of course, there's a price difference. The stainless steel version is 29,000 Swiss francs and the gold version is 39,000 Swiss francs. And lastly, let's talk about the new Furlan Marri Disco Volante Diamonds Onyx dial. Furlan Marri is a relatively new watch company, but they already established a pretty strong following and a pretty strong design language. Last year, they released a watch called Disco Volante, and it was an instant hit. Well, this year for 2025, there is a new version of this watch with a new bracelet with onyx dial and diamonds. Everything else about the watch stayed pretty much the same. It still comes in a stainless steel case, features the same dimensions, 38mm diameter by about 9mm case height. It has 50 meters of water resistance, and it is still powered by the same ETA 7001 manual wound movement that beats at 3 Hz, and it comes with 42 hours of power reserve. In terms of the dial, as I mentioned, it is made out of black onyx, and it features lab-grown baguette diamonds. I really like how this watch looks. Usually I'm not into diamond watches, but for whatever reason, this one really stands out to me. I also really like this bracelet. I think it has something Patek about it. It has something JLC about it. It has a very interesting design, and it kind of fits the vibe that this watch is going for. In terms of the pricing and availability, this will be a limited edition to 100 pieces, at least for 2025. They might bring it back next year, I guess, depending on how popular this watch becomes. And it's priced at 3,500 Swiss francs. So pretty expensive for the movement and the stainless steel case, But on the other hand, you have this really cool bracelet and the baguette diamonds. So I don't know how I feel about the pricing. Definitely would not be buying one of these watches, but it is kind of interesting, especially it's nice to see smaller companies getting to the size where they can produce these type of watches. And that's it for this week's watch releases. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about this week's releases, what stood out to you, what you didn't like. I always enjoy reading your comments. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you next time.